because we do need resistance exercise as well. ACTH, which comes from your brain, and cortisol, which comes from your adrenal glands, are released to decrease muscle inflammation. That's why it does that. And to begin breaking down amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins, for the process of protein synthesis after exercise. So when I work out and I lift weights, I break muscle bonds. And so my body does this stress situation, so then it produces this cortisol. So chemically, this is what's happening deep inside my body, so it can decrease muscle inflammation and break down amino acids. But there's people that just do resistance training all the time. That's not good, because then overall it's going to create an imbalance, too much cortisol in their system, and the different processes that happen when you have cortisol in your system, too much of it. Cortisol is increased in a linear fashion as we drop below caloric balance. So this is that BMR thing. So the BMR thing applied to my Harris-Benedict formula, so the calculation to figure out how many calories I need a day, if we're dropping below our BMR, our basic energy required, our body goes into a stress mode. That hunter and gatherer, if he was in a situation where he wasn't finding his food, he was stressed, right? That set his body into a stress situation. And so then his body would go into this stress physiology because he doesn't know when he's going to get his next meal. And so that's what causes the body to store fat. He needs to find food, okay? So that skipping meals, gorging, skipping breakfast, not eating until lunch or dinner is going to cause cortisol increase in your body. Another reason why we have to graze. As people decrease their caloric intake to lose weight, cortisol tends to rise. That's why, because their body's going into fight, fright, or flight mode, sympathetic mode. Cortisol is also increased on low carbohydrates diets when blood sugar levels drop too low. So the Atkins guys, when they were just eating their protein and their fat and no carbs, their body was in a stress situation, releasing cortisol into their system. We don't want cortisol in our system because it sets up all kinds of physiological, chemical factors. So we have to have a balanced diet, different pyramid, 70% of it, vegetables and fruit. Skipping meals causes a stress situation in the body and raises cortisol. Current research indicates that sleep deprivation can lead to an elevation in cortisol and harmful to carbohydrate metabolism. So if we're stressed from work and family and then we can't sleep too, it just compounds on top of each other. Anyone making a commitment losing weight should probably consider a parallel commitment to try to get more sleep, so your body doesn't go into that stress situation. Okay, let me try to put it all together because I just threw a whole bunch of information at you and you see those chemical words and it kind of makes it crazy, but it's not that tough. So research indicates that life event stress, which is today our everyday stress, which is the saber-toothed tiger in our today's day and age, inadequate sleep, no exercise, and poor nutrition like gorging and eating proteins and fats and that's it, all lead to elevated levels of cortisol. Put your body in a stress mode. Scientists believe that the excessive cortisol may lead to a variety of health problems. Research has found that most exercisers will have higher vigor as well as lower tension, less depression, less anger, less fatigue than the general public. Exercise burns up cortisol. Brings your body back to a level state. Your body can deal with more stresses if it's not constantly stressed from all the other stuff we're doing wrong. So if we make the right daily choices to work with our physiology, with our genetics, with our genome, the way that our body was made, then we can deal with the other life stresses because we're not at our threshold. We're not at all this stress built up within our body. Consequences of not exercising: decreased lung capacity, increased chances of cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancers, and stroke, increased muscle atrophy, use it or lose it, diminished sex drive, buildup of cortisol, insomnia, can't sleep, more cortisol, diminished energy level, your energy goes through the floor, increased prevalence of subluxation. If you're not moving, have more stress. One of the causes of subluxation is mental and emotional stress. Cortisol, your body's in a stressed situation. Potential financial loss due to healthcare cost. Your health is no good. Worst of all, sedentary lifestyle can shorten lifespan. Difference between fitness and health. Fitness is the physical ability to perform athletic activity. Health is the state in which all systems of the body, nervous system, muscular, skeletal, circulatory, digestive, and lymphatic, and hormone system, are all working together. So it's not just about exercising and working out. We have to do it the right way, and we want to make everything work together. It happens through our nutrition. It happens through our motion. It happens through our exercise. It happens through our mental thoughts, and it happens through a well-functioning nervous system that controls and coordinates the whole thing through your innate intelligence. Aerobic versus anaerobic exercise. Okay. Aerobic means with oxygen. So therefore, anaerobic obviously means without oxygen. Moderate exercise sustained over a period of time is aerobic exercise. Aerobic systems gives you endurance. Encompass the heart, lungs, blood vessels, and the aerobic muscles. Burns fat for energy. This is how you lose fat, by exercising aerobically. Burns fat for energy. Anaerobic exercise means without oxygen. It's exercise that produces short bursts of power, like weight training. It's still okay to weight train. We just got to make sure we're doing aerobic exercise too. It burns sugar is its primary fuel, not fat. So for all of us overachievers that get on their goal of losing weight, and maybe they limit their calories below their BMR, which is wrong because that's going to put their body in a stress situation and cause it to store more fat and everything else, get on that treadmill and bust their ass to get their job done, to reach their goal, are exercising anaerobically. They're burning sugar for the fuel. They're not burning fat. It causes the body to store fat, exercising anaerobically. It adds acid to your system. How critical is acid in alkalinity?
How does that do that?
Lactic acid. It's a byproduct of anaerobic without oxygen exercise for the muscles. It's called lactic acid. You've heard of it before.
Yeah.
That's how. And the sugar that it's burning. When you burn sugar, glycogen, its byproduct is acid. So when we consume sugars, the carbohydrates, the whites, the white pastas, white bread, stuff like that, sugar, it burns fast, remember, like lighter fluid, and its byproduct is acid. So anaerobic exercise is burning those sugars quickly, adding more acid to the system, and leaving behind lactic acid. No pain, no gain? That's not true. It's a fallacy. But see, we're all been taught kind of that, and we have to push hard and go hard and run hard and lift hard, but that's anaerobic all the time. The level of intensity. One's heart rate is a, if not the major factor in determining whether the particular exercise is aerobic or anaerobic. Aerobic exercise. At lower heart rates, walking, skiing, biking, swimming, kickboxing, dancing, elliptical machine, I don't care, whatever you're doing, are examples of aerobic exercise, lower heart rate. Anaerobic. Walking, skiing, biking, swimming, kickboxing, dancing, elliptical, I don't care what you're talking about, at a higher heart rate is anaerobic. So it's the same motion, it's the same activity, it just depends on where your heart rate is how we determine if it's aerobic or anaerobic. If you're burning fat or if you're burning sugar. What would you rather do? Burn fat. Weightlifting is an example of anaerobic exercise, but it's good. But we want to make sure we're doing anaerobic stuff as well. Because weightlifting exercises require intense stop and start exertion, that's what takes you in an anaerobic mode.